In this video, I'm going to be going over exactly the kind of psychology and way of thinking we put into building out operational systems for residential construction companies. What we're thinking, how we're digesting everything and collecting information to ultimately build the best solution for our clients. Moving up over here, everything comes out of a way of thinking called theory of constraint, okay? So theory of constraint is basically the idea that you can identify one single thing out of everything else that is going wrong in your business. And if you fix that one thing, everything will get better and you're able to take off and scale it. You can also call it the TOC, right? TOC, theory of constraint. Doesn't matter how you say it. Now that we know that we need to identify the theory of constraint, we also know that fundamentally speaking, every business, no matter what it is, comprises of three main components: marketing, sales, and fulfillment. MSF, okay? We have to do this, we have to film that, we have to order these parts, I have to hire this person. Doesn't matter, okay? Everything still revolves around these three core components of the business. If you don't have marketing, you don't have sales. If you don't have sales, you can't fulfill anything, okay? And as you know, marketing is the action of getting eyeballs and attention to your business and start receiving phone calls and form intakes and all that jazz. Sales is to actually communicate with that lead well enough to where they eventually close with you and become a customer. Now, fulfillment is actually the action of doing what you said you were going to do for these people and providing that service, right? So you can typically find the theory of constraint or the constraint itself in the business in one of these three components. For example, we are working with a client right now, and with that client, we have quickly identified that they have a high volume of good leads, okay? So they have their marketing is fine, right? That is not a existential constraint in their business. Their marketing was fine. Their lead volume was good. Fulfillment, they have access to a lot of good crews. They have a good crew. They can fulfill, right? And they do a good job, okay? Now, what we did identify is that he had good marketing, had good fulfillment, but his sales was lacking. Now their sales, like the actual conversations they were having wasn't going bad. Salespeople weren't saying the wrong things, but it was that they could not get quotes out fast enough. That's how many good people they had coming in the door. They cannot get good people quotes fast enough. Okay. So we quickly identified that was the constraint. If we fix and solve this one thing, everything in their business would be good until we find the next constraint. They could not get quotes out fast enough, which was killing their follow-up and killing their close rate. Now, because they could not get out quotes fast enough, they weren't replying to people in a timely manner with their quote. So those people would either forget or they would end up just going to a competitor if they were, not patient with the process or whatnot. So from a systems perspective, because we build tech for this space, we can then take this constraint and use it to form a tech-based solution that solves this issue. So we know that because quotes were getting out fast, they weren't having good communication in the in-between process, right? Even if you were to be able to get your quotes out within an hour or 2 minutes, you still need that communication in between the business and the lead until that quote is received. And then when they do receive that quote, you need to follow up with them to either one, get them to close, two, get them to state their objection, or three, just confirm that it's an outright no and move on. We also knew that they were using software that we love, JobTread, from doing our theory of constraint investigation, that if we solved the pre and post quote communication, if we added that, if we added that quote speed and then we were able to track everything, that would be problem solved. So what we did is we went ahead and we integrated high level with JobTread to connect those stages in the pipeline together so that when quotes were going out, they would have a communication channel with the business. And then once they did get their quote, they were followed up with consistently until, like I said, they flat out just left. They stated an objection or they closed the deal and physically sent the business money, okay? So now the company is going to have open communication channels all days during work hours. They're going to have automated follow-ups. on their quotes that are sent out. And this is where it gets really cool. Because the quote speed was low, we built an internal form that when a sales rep shows up on site, they could go around on their on-site evaluation and they could fill out this form. They could fill out this form on their phone or iPad on site and fill out all their information they need to get a proper price over to this customer. Now, what this did on the back end is that we paired an MCP tool, basically an AI, with the catalog and job trade. We paired the form with an AI. We integrated them all together. And so what that means is that as the sales rep is filling out the form and submitting it, the AI is immediately going into job trade. It is gathering all the information and context it was provided, and it is spitting out quotes. Then to get them to the customer within a 24-hour period, the sales rep and the company could then go into JobTread, pull up the chatbot that made the quote for them. They could then use this AI to perfect the quote, add renderings to it, because when they do submit the form, it is also sending that information to their designer, which can then give it over to JobTread and put the designs on the quote. And you can have it very quickly make multiple reiterations and options for the customer. So not only were they getting quotes to customers now within 24 hours very effortlessly, they were able to get quotes to their customers quicker. All the quotes had designs stamped onto them. And on top of that, every quote to a customer had multiple options that would further increase the close rate for the company. And then to pair that up, because everything is built out with tech and systems, we had tracking ability. We could track everything. The performance by sales rep, the close rate, the feedback loop. We could track literally everything and send reports off to our customer on a weekly basis so that we can then further optimize this sales process and make it better and better and better until they're growing and growing and growing, adding more salespeople, adding more fulfillment teams, and so on. At Restless Systems, we're building full operational systems from A to Z, from marketing, sales to fulfillment, okay? So instead of those MSF, A to Z. So we are still building the infrastructure through the whole company's workflow and process. But when we are going and tackling the systems build, we are first tackling with the utmost priority the theory of constraint, which was this piece, which was sales, okay? So not only are our clients left with a amazing solution for their number one issue right off the bat, but now they are able to operate very effectively across the board even after that main issue is solved, because they have that thing resolved, but they also have systems and operational tech and everything plugged in for the whole company's process. So yeah, I just wanted to come on here and give a very clear breakdown of exactly how we are building and how we are getting this done for our people, just to kind of give context or a helping hand to anyone who's kind of on the board with working with us. Now, if you're on the board at all, do not be scared to just reach out and we can get on a call and literally answer all of your questions. We can even go and do a theory of constraint breakdown for you and just do a full consultation for you, answer all your questions. And that's zero pressure, okay? That is just, we'll come in, free value. You can either take it and run or you can work with us.